So, my ex-husband offered our daughter $1 million to never talk to me again and go ahead and leave. Well, the joke's on him because I found out his secret. And yeah, you guys will get to hear his side of the story too, because his point of view is added to the story as well. With every single update for this post, let's just dive right into it. There's nothing worse than being betrayed by one's partner. My husband, the only man I've ever dated since I was 10 years old, has decided that he wants to end our marriage. We've been married for over 10 years and have a daughter who's turning 11. I don't get why he's leaving me. I've always been happy. When I say that we've gone through ups and downs, we have. When we once broke up, when we were still teenagers and dating, you see, David, well, he dated this other lady called Caroline for a year, but then he decides to come back to me, his one true love. Even though it's been several years, Caroline never ceases to joke about how she once dated my husband. She's part of my friend group because she was burying the hatchet, but it doesn't mean that I would put my guard down. As I was saying, I have no idea why my husband served me with divorce papers. He said that he wants to go out there and just find himself, which I did not think is a very valid reason. If he wants a break to go visit another country or see his family, that I could understand. But, I just fail to understand that he wants to go away. Go away from me and our family? He says that I don't bring him peace and I'm just nagging him all the time. But you must understand this. I get lonely when I'm at home. It's difficult for me to even see my family because they're in another state. I can spend time cooking and cleaning all day, but it's boring. As for my husband, his life is so much more fun than mine. When I try to start something of my own, he's never attentive to me. He doesn't listen to me. All he cares about is his business. He would not even have the business if I was not there to support him. But now he feels that he wants to go and try dating other women. He's denied it, but I've seen the signs that he's seeing somebody else. When he told me that he wanted a divorce, I asked him if there's another woman, and he strongly denied it. So, I took his phone and started looking through it. He threw the phone out of my hands, which was when I became very suspicious that he was indeed seeing somebody. You see, I called his mother and I just told her everything. She was so shocked and said her son would never do something like that. The next day, she came over for a family dinner along with his father. At dinner, they tried to talk to him and convince him to come with me to our marriage counseling. Our church has one of the best priests who have saved many marriages before. If he cheated and it was over, I would have forgiven him as long as he wanted to work on our marriage. But he became upset at the idea and had an outburst. He told his parents to stay out of it and that he would never tolerate an ambush. I tried to explain to him that it was far from an ambush. I was just trying to help him deal with emotions. I love this man and we've been through so much together. I know there are some judgmental people who will say that I should have known my worth and leave. But they just don't understand that marriage is a union. We're two souls bound together. We've gone through difficult times, but that does not mean that we give up. His parents' words fell on deaf ears and he became very angry. When they left, he also packed his stuff and left. This left me in a crisis because we've already agreed that we're going to tell our daughter together. But there had still been some hope in my heart that he would change his mind and we did not have to tell her this devastating news. She's not even in high school, and having her parents divorce is going to affect her terribly. I tried to tell him when he left, but he did not want to hear anything that I was even saying. So, then I was stuck being the bad person who had to go and tell her daughter that her father was leaving because he needs his space. So, I just gave him the space and decided to not fight the divorce. I was now more stressed with helping my daughter deal with her emotions. Luckily, I have background in psychology, which helped me to be able to deal with the feelings of betrayal. I also threw myself into things that fulfilled me, and soon I passed all the stages of grief. And then came the court case, as my daughter's 10 and the court felt it was better than she stayed with me. It was up to me when she saw her father, but I told her father that he would see her anytime. Well, after the divorce, I did not see him for a long time. Holly asked me every day where David was, and I had nothing to tell her. I mean, I was an emotional wreck as I had to get rid of all the things that reminded me of him. I kept on trying to wake myself up from this dream that my husband, my soulmate, left me. And I know that it's for another woman. There's no other reason. I've been nothing but kind and generous to him. I've never stepped into our marriage, nor do I gossip about him to my friends. Clearly, he fell into the trap that all the successful rich men fall into. As I thought of it more, I started to realize that there had been times when he answered secret phone calls when he thought I was asleep. Not only that, but towards the end of our relationship, he did not want to give me as much money as he used to. I'm pretty sure that it is his secretary. Several months from now, when everything's died down, I think that he's going to be public with the relationship. I've seen the way that she hovers about him when she thinks that I'm not looking. She also wears very provocative clothing to work, which could be an indication that she's trying to charm him. I told his mom, whom I'm very close with, and she believes me. She's tried to get him to admit it, but he's remained quiet. I guess he doesn't want to incriminate himself. I just want to be able to understand why. Because it just, I don't know, makes me think of the fact that when we were divorcing, he did not fight for custody of his daughter. Not only that, but he gave me a lot of money to start over my life without complaint. To me, that screams that he's guilty. I want him to be guilty because then it would be an explanation. Because the alternate explanation would be that he does not love me and has not for years. That's what people are saying about me out there. Gossip will always come back to the person that you're gossiping about, you know. And what have I heard is that I've let myself go over the years and he does not want to stay with somebody like me. But it's not like I've not been trying. I've always eaten healthy, gone to the gym, dyed my hair when it started to look gray. My former mother-in-law, who is still like a mom to me by the way, has been of great support. She tells me that the whole family misses me and they wish that he had never made such a big mistake. You see, even his mother can see that we're a great match. But I guess I've been living with a lying, cheating, backstabbing stranger for the past few years. And that's just scary. What do you think? Am I overreacting by thinking that there's another woman? I'd also like the tips on just how to get over divorce when you've known that one person for 13 years. I've done nothing but dedicated my entire life, and I mean my entire life. Well, and he chooses to throw me to the side. I lied. I'm not okay at all. And it'll be a long time before I am okay. What's up, guys? Mr. Reddito here. So today's story started off as a bummer. But the next update came out 4 months later, and the title is, He's Trying to Steal My Daughter From Me. So things are about to get a bit rambunctious. If you guys are new to the channel, take a second right now and click that subscribe button. There's only about 8% of viewers who are actually subscribed to the channel. It really does support me, and it only takes a second, so if you want more videos, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And here is your update. 4 months later. Well, I thought about our divorce, and, well, I thought it ended amicably. But he seems determined to take the only person that I have left from me. He already managed to sever my relationship with my mother-in-law. I've always had a friendship with her that does not revolve around him. He thinks that the two of us were conspiring against him. So, he banned his mother from talking to me. What kind of son tries to dictate who his mother can have a friendship with? I've lost a lot of respect that I used to have for him. In fact, I don't even respect him anymore. Not after he tried to bribe my daughter to leave me. This is how it happened. He's not once agreed to see our daughter for months, even though this has broken her heart. But then, out of nowhere, he showed up and was trying to be the father of the year to my daughter. He bought her gifts and spent days taking her shopping. He knows that I cannot do that for her, and within a few days she was already avoiding spending time with me so that she could spend time with her father. He's clearly been bribing her in an attempt to take her away from me. He's a bitter ex only because I've been trying to pick up the pieces of my life. He doesn't want to see me happy, which is why he offered my daughter $1 million. Well, to leave me and go stay with him. Yeah, I'm not lying. I heard it straight from the horse's mouth. My daughter and I argued a few days ago because she wants to have a birthday party this weekend, even though there might be a storm. I tried but failed to get her to postpone it to the next weekend so that she can avoid terrible weather, and so she can concentrate on school. Holly is not academically weak. She's an average student, and because of that, she has to put an extensive hour of study. Wow. Just so she can be prepared. She needs a good average, which will allow her to get into college of her choice one day. So, anyways, here we are, arguing over the fact that she's been rude to me regarding her birthday matter. And then she said, and I quote, "I don't need your approval. My father's giving me $1 million, and then I will not be reliant on you." After which she stormed up to her room, and I tried to get her to come downstairs, but she was very mad at me. She told me that she was going to leave me alone because I'm controlling and I'm the reason her father left. Hearing this not only broke my heart but angered me. The anger, it was not directed at her. After all, she's nothing but a child and knows not what she's doing. My anger was directed at her father, who knew what he was doing when he offered her money to leave me. Not sure if I mentioned this, but my ex is the owner of a very big company. You see, he makes good money, right? But our family has never lived a lavish lifestyle. We've always been humbled and simple. My daughter was not spoiled growing up. She did her chores like any other child and did not even own more than she needed. That had been my decision when I was raising her. I didn't want her to grow up and become an obnoxious little rich kid. So the fact that she is, well, being tempted by her father for money, it just does not sit well with me. He's trying to corrupt my poor innocent baby. Update. I confronted him about it, and now I'm not going to show any mercy. You see, the thing is about knowing someone for years is that you know all their deepest, darkest secrets and all their tells. When we're together, we entrusted each other with our deepest secrets, which we could not repeat to other people. But now that our union has been broken, I feel it's more than fair for me to do what I've been wanting to do, a bit of retaliation for what he's done to me. I went to his office the next day to try to gain a bit of clarity from him. He refused to see me and told the receptionist to have security throw me out. So, I left on my own free will and decided that I was going to go to his home. When he came back home, I was waiting for him. When I entered his front door, well, I could not help but notice how clean it was. He is well known for being a slob, so clearly somebody's been cleaning the house for him. My ex appears to have moved on with his life. You see, I told him that I was not here to fight, but to beg him to leave my daughter alone. I simply asked him to withdraw his offer, as I still needed her. If she gets the money and leaves me, then I'll not have anything left in this world. I will be nothing without my daughter. He's already taken his side of the family from me, and I've lost most of our mutual friends as well. He told me that I needed to leave, and he did not owe me a thing. I saw a side of him that I've never seen before, and it was very, very cold. It hurt me to think that he could be so cold when we once understood each other so well. But it was what it was, and I had to leave. When I arrived home, I cried for the longest time ever, and then decided to hell with him. I called the person who's been there for me since the beginning. His mother. He might have banned her from interacting with me, but he was not the boss of her. I'm so tired of him controlling my life. I've told her everything that's happening, and she deeply sympathized. She told me that I had to fight for my daughter as she was a mother. She knew how it could hurt to lose a child. When she told me, it just inspired me to fight for myself. Really. And so I decided that one of his secrets is going to have to come out. Wow. When he was starting his company, he had a friend who was his partner. His friend was behind everything, for he was incredibly smart. They had a 50-50 share in the company before it was even registered. But when he got himself some investors, he told his friend that his idea sucked, and he was the downfall of the company. So he gives his friend some money, which was less than he deserved, and got investors to invest in the company. Then he moved the company to his mother's hometown. His friend passed away months later due to unknown circumstances, but hey, if I can guess, it would be stress. He admitted to me what he did, and among other things, and so I'm going to sell those stories to the highest bidder. I want to see if his daughter's going to idolize him when she finds out that he's no longer an honorable man. I'm hoping that this will teach her to not trust him. I have a friend at the local newspaper. It's a small newspaper that runs throughout the town, and he's going to run the story. I'm going to be protected, of course. I'm hardly stressed that he'll find out it's me, and as for his mom, well, what she does not know will simply not hurt her. I know this is a crappy thing to do, but he leaves me with no choice now that he's taken the meaning of life away from me. Seriously. And once the story runs, his company's stock will plummet, and I hope that they'll kick him out. And then my daughter will see him for who he is, and she will not take the money. He's the one who started playing the game dirty. So, as they say, all is fair in love and war. Update number 3, a few days later. Hey guys, this is a short update, but listen, I think I've succeeded. He's recently stepped down from his position, and there's rumors that they're looking for a replacement for him. I hope they find a replacement soon and kick him to the curb. My daughter is incredibly heartbroken by this because she thought that her father was an honorable man. But his true colors are now coming out for the world to see. I finally feel like I've been somehow avenged, and now all is well. My daughter's agreed to postpone her birthday, and many of our mutual friends are now talking to me as well. As for him, he's been silently licking his wounds. As for what happens to him next, I would not be bothered. I've done what I had to do to keep my daughter from him. He showers her with presents, yet does not even know what her favorite book is. I don't know. Did I go too far, or were my actions justified? Update number 4, the real truth. Hey guys, I'll brief. Francesca, my wife, she's no longer going to be posting on this account. At least for a while, because she's been admitting to a mental health facility. I cannot disclose too much about her mental health, but I'll say that she has carefully crafted her story to make me look like a villain. In doing so, she's forgotten some very important details of what really happened. First of all, my wife and I have been having problems for years. She sees the world through rose-tinted glasses, which is why she feels that, quote, everything was perfect. But as for yourself, how can you be with someone for 13 years and not even have a single fight? When we broke up, I ended up dating Caroline. It was because I was sick of how Fran was so possessive. You see, Fran, she was obsessed with how she looked and would give a death stare to any woman who looked at her. It became worse when she started stalking me when I was on a boys' night out. When she showed up 3 times in a row, that's when I decided that enough was enough, and I dumped her. She kept on coming to our house, and she's very close to my mother. When I started dating somebody else, they made the girl feel uncomfortable to the point where she broke up with me. To be honest, I should have never gone back to Fran back then. I should have run and just continued dating Caroline. Maybe something would have bloomed. But then I messed up one night and spent the night with Fran when I was dating Caroline. Then Fran told me that she was pregnant. My parents, they told me that I could not just leave her like that. I had a duty as a man to her since I was the only one that she had ever known. And that's when my problems arised. I should have agreed to co-parent but never to marry her. Unfortunately, it was a different time and my town is not that progressive. So then we got married and left town to raise our daughter. I'll not lie and say that all those years with her were hell. When it was good, it was really good. But living with her was like living with 2 people. I specifically remember one day when she woke up with me with a slap. When I asked her what the heck her problem was, she said that she heard me saying she was fat in her dream. Yeah, she had a lot of insecurities, which she should not have. She's still as beautiful as the first day that I met her. In our marriage, I've never stepped out. She wrote a secret phone call that I took when she was asleep, and those were my calls to the divorce lawyer. I was now dying in that relationship. I could not break. Knowing that nothing I ever do will be good enough for her. It took months to think about it, trust me. Holly was one of the reasons why I didn't want to leave. I did not want her to grow up in a broken home. But would it not have been better for her to grow up in two separate happy homes? So I left. And when I left, she did not let me go that easily. She ambushed me with visits from my parents who tried to convince me to stay, and well, that angered me a bit. You see, they did not live with her. They did not know her emotional outburst. They did not know what she once left our daughter at the grocery store after having a mental breakdown. After that incident, I paid for her to go to therapy. But then I found out that she used that time to go shopping instead. All this time, I thought she was a bit just, well, over-emotional. But what happened the next few months proved that she was definitely emotionally unstable. You see, when we broke up, well, she would park outside my apartment, leave me notes, and show up at my office. When she got angry, she would throw precious memorabilia that we collected over the years out my apartment window. Whether I wanted to or not, she ran my life. I became scared to even leave the home. And another thing she did not tell you is that the reason why she did not let me see our daughter was because she suspected I cheated on her. She wanted me to literally show her the woman in my life that she could see and just assess if she was good enough. I showed the text to my mother, who decided to take a break from her. Little did I know my mom would go back and see her months later. But don't worry, I've sent my mother everything that she did, and she stopped talking to her since. She's now realized that since she knew her from a young age, she could never imagine that she was the kind of person who would destroy my career. A piece of information that Fran neglected to mention is that I did not offer my daughter $1 million to leave her. What I offered her was a stake in my company worth $1 million, which she can only claim when she's 30, or if I pass before then. So her reason for ruining my reputation was terrible. No such thing transpired, so moving on. The situation that happened years ago is partially true. My friend got sick with a neurological disorder, and I confided in my wife, who told me that he was dead weight. So both of us convinced him to sell half of his company. We gave him what he wanted at the moment, and after that, I gave the rest of his family the money after he passed away. Something I didn't even tell her. She was already upset, telling me that I gave him too much money. After the story broke out, I temporarily resigned while PR dealt with the story. During that time, I received a message from my daughter telling me that she hates me. I didn't speak to her or anyone while my reputation was tarnished. The worst part is that if I wanted to, I could have destroyed Fran. She has secrets. She thinks I have secrets? No, she does. Secrets that she would rather not come out. While they're not exactly lethal, they are definitely embarrassing and would change how the family members look at her. But I decided to be a nice person and just simply not say anything about her. Soon enough, my company released a statement, and then I went back to work. Everything was going well considering that my daughter hated me. So my new girlfriend, Annika, told me that I should try to reach out to her. I sent her a text message to meet me. To my surprise, she actually showed up, which made me very happy. We spoke for a while, catching up on things, and I told her that I was not perfect, but hey, she was my daughter and I would always be there for her if she needed me. Well, if she needs anything. That's when she lifted her coffee cup and I saw the bruises on her arm. It looked purple, meaning that it's from a couple of days ago. Then I realized that she was supposed to be going to a Girl Scouts now, so I asked her about wallet and tried to digest the marks on her. Honey,
Where'd you get those marks?
Nothing.
Tell me when you want to go home, I can drive you there.
I'm taking time off school. I don't want to be a Girl Scout. But that was what she wanted all those years ago. Something told me that all was not okay, and I was right to think so. I had no idea what I was even about to find, but a few minutes later, I drove her home and I noticed curtains open and close upstairs. She got out the car and then entered without saying goodbye, so I sat there as if my hands and feet were glued to the car.
No, I needed to check on her.
I walked up the driveway, opened up the door, and as soon as I did, I heard what appeared to be metal hitting the ground. Not only that, but I heard my daughter scream. And then I opened the kitchen door to find my ex, hair disheveled and holding up a fire poker to my daughter. I pushed her to the side immediately and started screaming at her. I don't know where she got the strength, but she flipped me over and starts to choke me, cutting off my blood supply. And then I felt the sting of that fire poker right there on my face. I couldn't see anything. All I saw, felt, and heard was pain. And then there was silence. My daughter had managed to grab something and hit her over the head.
She was knocked out for a while.
While my daughter called for help, we all ended up at the hospital, where I got treatment for my injury. My sight's fine, but I'll have a nasty scar from now on. I managed to call my girlfriend to take my daughter after she finished giving her statement.
I didn't hear anything about my ex for the rest of the night.
The next morning, I was hit with information that I've been unaware of. A long time ago, my wife got diagnosed with something, but she refused to take pills. When I left, she spiraled. She starts by screaming at her daughter and then hurting her. That's why Holly always wanted to hang with me. Holly threatened to leave, so she said that she would get help.
She was on the medicine for a few weeks and then just stopped taking it cold turkey.
Because of that, Holly could not go to her Girl Scout meetings, and she started missing school days because she had to take care of her mother. She did not say anything to me because she believed that I was a monster.
Thank goodness that I followed my gut instincts and did not leave her alone.
The case went to court, and the court deemed that she was, too out of it to stand trial. So, they sent her to an institution. She's getting worse day by day, and I visit her, but there's no one there. No one knows when the switch happened. I tried to get answers from her family, but they say that they haven't spoken to her in ages because she was just also bragging about how she had a rich husband. In fact,
they don't even know that we divorced.
She kept on putting up a show for them when they tried to check up on her. Obviously, it's been a crazy couple of weeks for the both of me and Holly. Mini update. 1 year later, this is the final update. Well, just checking in and answering some questions. I got access to her account because she wrote the details in one of her diaries and she left it on her computer. There were so many questions that she was not there. I was appalled to find out that she lied and needed to set the record straight. I do not hate her. I am, however, concerned about her. Holly, Annika, and I go to see her when we can. She's on a lot of medicine still, and they say the meds are the only thing that keeps her from going into a manic fit of rage. I just hope one day she wakes up from all of this healed. For in those 13 years, the good moments were more than the bad. Thank you guys for listening to my story. So this is one of those stories where it was just wild. I did not expect the ending. I did not expect the abuse from Francesca, and I definitely did not expect her to be put away into an insane asylum. Guys, this story had so many twists and turns, I just didn't know what was coming. Let me know what you thought. Do you think OP handled the situation correctly and was protecting the daughter? I would love to hear from you guys about this story, as we know it was a pretty intense one. So drop your thoughts down below, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.
I'll see ya.